Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. Round 2 takes us to Silvertone for the T1 event. We are here at the Northamptonshire countryside, I should say. 3-part qualifying and then it'll be a 26-lap Grand Prix to wrap up the evening's action. Tom Cairnes in the country box giving you the details for today. We've got 19 in the lobby at the moment. Therese should be coming in very shortly as well. So he may not be around for qualifying. If he's not around for qualifying, he will most certainly be in for the race. So we have got driver weather by the looks of things, although it is cloudy, so I don't know if there's going to be any rain intervening. We've got a few reserve drivers being called in as well. Safdar in place of Scenario in AlphaTauri. Lizard, who was involved last season, won multiple races. He's been called in place of the Warrior at Haas. And then Jack DNF, who was around last week, isn't around tonight. His seat is taken by Davidosh. You can see Becco coming out of the pits in the Alpine. All the other drivers will be desperate to get out there as well. So, in terms of last week, Dixon won out. It was a dominant race, it has to be said. And Safdar seems to be deciding to opt out of qualifying. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if Dan Murphy decided to do the same as well, as he normally does that. But for Safdar, as a reserve driver, this is not quite what he normally decides to do. So maybe this is part of his strategy to salvage a good result. In second and third last week were Big Balls Bells and Milo's. So those two will be looking to get onto the podium yet again here. And Murphy has decided to opt out of qualifying. So with 19 at the moment for qualifying, we will be losing 2 more drivers at the end of Q1. Becco will be hoping to not be one of them. So this is the second round. We're racing at Imola. It's a 13-round championship. After Silverstone, we go to Baku, and then to Melbourne. And into December, we go to Paul Ricard, Singapore, and then Sochi before the Christmas break. And then we're in Hungary on the 4th of January. Austria at the Red Bull Ring, Spa in Belgium, Abu Dhabi to round off January. And we've got 2 more rounds to finish off the season in Bahrain and at the brand new Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia. So the drivers will have had enough practice by the time we do get to February the 8th. So Becco, the first driver to start a flying lap. Didn't quite see his Sector 1 time. I'll just go back on the screen to have a look. It's a 27.9 that he posted. So we expect a lot of the times in Sector 1 to be 27s, possibly 26s. So Becco coming out of Beckett. He's got an Aston Martin behind him. I think got out of the way whilst he was on a flying lap. So Becco probably expecting around about a 1 minute 28 here, providing he gets through quad corner without any problems. And it's a 1:28.1. So that's the first time on the board. Let's see who else is on a fast lap. Well, Lezard, called in as reserve, is on the fast lap. We were expecting to go faster than Becco by half a second. It's not bad for a first attempt. There is Dixon, last week's winner. $127.4 and he goes top. Not too bad for him. There is William Gaiman, who's on an invalidated lap time. Here's Melios, otherwise known as Matteo. He's coming over the line now, and it's a 1:27.5, and he goes second. So he beats Lizard on that occasion. Here is Winfield in the McLaren. He had a tough time at Imola despite a good qualifying session. He's invalidated his lap time, so he won't be setting a time on that occasion either. Well, Becco's on another lap here. He's only a fraction up by sector 2, but it's still an improvement nevertheless. He decided to come into the pits, so Becco back in. Davidosh, one of the reserves, being called in as well. He's coming towards Stowe Corner. And Davidosh coming round. It's a 1:27.9. Only good enough for 7th at the moment. Here's William Gaiman. There's an Alpha Tauri ahead of him who will stay out of the way. Rams Republic. So there's Will coming round. Club corner onto the pit straight. 1:27.5 for the Ferrari pilot. It goes to P2. And Winfield has exceeded track limits again, so he may as well come back into the pits. Wildlife posting his first time of tonight, 1:28.4 for him. Here's Carlos Killer, 1:4.7 for the Aston Martin driver. So what we're looking to see from Carlos as he approaches the Hamilton Straight. It's only 1:28.9, so it's the slowest of all the times so far. There's Mikey on a fast lap in the Mercedes. It's a 27.6 for him. He showed some good pace last week, did Mike. It was a shame he missed out on the podium thanks to a time penalty. So we're hoping to keep his car on track here, where it's very easy to exceed track limits around this one, so he's got to keep his car on track, really. He should be going for a 1:03 by sector 2. The sector 2 timing beam is just on the exit of Chapel. So 1:36. Unless it's decided to not go back out again. It should be through to Q2 anyway. There's Mikey going up to P2. There's Republic posting in 1:27.6. Becco going for another timed lap. There is Liverpool fan in the Alfa Romeo. There's Pimis is just going past. And Aston Martin, who's just getting out of the way. Big Boss Bells is also on a lap. Second place last week at Imola. There he goes, fastest with 1:27.2. Pimis is next for Alfa Romeo, 1:27.5. And Will seems to have decided to retire from the session. Not out of qualifying. Statistic King going 10th, but he's also retired from the session. So the bottom four at the moment are Safdar, Dan Murphy, Winfield and Bowie. None of them have set a lap time at the present moment. Carlos knows he needs to be going much quicker than before. Liverpool Fun also went 8th on a 1:27.6. It's very close actually between Mikey in 3rd, Sarone's Republic in 9th, less than 2 tenths. was just didn't execute Cop's corner very well. How much time does he find him in comparison to what he needs to find? Well, he's 3/10 up from before, but this is still not going to be good enough to see him move up the order. So I think Carlos is going to be one of the favourites to be eliminated here. Unless he can find a heap of time in the last sector. So Carlos over the line, and he goes up to 14th ahead of Wild Dog. But he did lose a lot of time through Cop's corner. There's Becco in 13th place. Warrior Huntsman on a lap for a moment there, but he's decided to come into the pits. So we'll go to Winfield, who's one of 4 drivers yet to post a time, but one of those who could set a time in the session. Winfield should be in the 1 minute 27s. I think all those that are on a 1 minute 28 will be looking over their shoulders. Winfield over the line. It's a 1:27.2 and he goes P2, so that should see him through no problem. Here's Becco in the Alpine, looking to improve. Only 7,000s up by sector 2. Is he finding enough time in the remainder of this lap? He did find a little bit more time. He stays on a 1 minute 28, but he did improve his time by a 10th and a half. There's Bowie, who's out on track now. Wild Dog is likewise. He needs to, because he's in the drop zone in 16th. So Statisticing just informed me that it'll be dry throughout. Thank you very much. So Wild Dog with the rear wing open. He's not on the flying lap yet. He's currently on an out lap. Now Davidosh, who's 13th, is going for another run. Dixon goes fastest on a 1:27 dead. And Davidosh is half a tenth up from before. What can he find in the remainder of this fast-flowing Silvertone circuit? There are 9 corners between sectors 1 and 2. Or I should say, in the second sector. Davidosh will be looking to go faster than before. His line through Beckett's wasn't particularly great. He's still 2/10 up. So he's looking to move up the order here. And should he do so, he could well be safe and secure into Q2. Now the Williams driver coming through. And his lap time is a 1:27.6. He goes 8th. That's a good lap time. That should see him through. Bowie's on a fast lap as well. It's not particularly quick though. It's only a 1 minute 4.4 by sector 2. I think he will get into the 1 minute 27s, but not by much. Probably around where Statistic King and Warrior Huntsman are. So Bowie over the line. And it's only 1 minute 28.3. He stays 16th. Only 16th for Jack Bowie. Wild Dog has exceeded track limits on his latest flying lap. So you'll have to go again. But over 4 minutes remaining. Now Bowie will feel that another set of soft tyres could be the way to go. But he may want to save them for Q2 should he get through. Well, through sector 1. He's 3/10 up. This is where he lost a lot of time actually last time, so that makes sense. So exiting Loffield and through Woodcote. How is he through Cop's corner? Absolutely nailed on. Smooth. No fight in the car. Just allowed the car to do the work for him. Through Beckett. That was very nicely done. Timed that very, very well. And he's on a 1 minute 3.8, half a second up from before. So this is looking good for Bowie to book his place in Q2. Carlos Killer is the one at risk. And it's likely he'll fall into the drop zone once Bowie gets this lap done. Carlos is out on circuit. Becco's in the pits, presumably to get another set of tyres put on for a last attempt. Bowie goes 12th on a 1:27.7. So he goes in front of Statistic King and Warrior Huntsman, who's also out on circuit. And that's Wild Dog going off circuit, so he's made a mistake. He's lost his front wing. So Wild Dog's session could well be coming to an end, because I doubt he's going to have enough time to get rounds and get another lap in. So this could well be between Carlos Killer and Becco going through. We'll go back to Warrior Huntsman because he's coming through Sector 1 now. It's a 27.6. It's marginally slower than before, but it's still a decent time to carry on. Burn a little bit more fuel. Get a good exit coming out of Loffield. So Warrior Huntsman currently 14th on the 1:27.8. Now Statistic King will be conscious here because although Becco has decided to opt out, so he's got the hope that Carlos Killer does not go quicker. Well, he hasn't gone quicker because he's invalidated his current lap. Wild Dog is out as well. So either Carlos Killer or Becco will be joining Wild Dog, Safdar and Dan Murphy on the sidelines in around 2 minutes' time. And Therese has joined in, albeit too late, going through to Q2 because he hasn't set a lap time. He hasn't even been out on circuit. So just watching Carlos Killer, who's just getting out of the way of another car. I think is that Pimis who's going through? It was. I think it was going for another 10. Well, here's Bowie, who should be assured of a place in Q2, but just wants to make sure by going for another run. This is his old set of softs. Probably won't use them again for the rest of tonight. 2/10 down from before. So we've just got over 30 seconds remaining. 3 drivers in the pits. It looks like Carlos Killer's ducked into the pits as well. So he is out of qualifying. And he'll join Wild Dog, Safdar and Dan Murphy on the sidelines. Terades didn't get going as he arrived late. And Bowie's a 10th up from before through Sector 2. And the checker flag has fallen. Here's Bowie, currently P12 behind Romus Republic. Can he get ahead of him with a neat final sector? The answer to that question is that Jack Bowie does not improve his time, but he is safely through to Q2. Nevertheless, I think Pimis has lost time on this lap. He's not going very quick anyway, so he will only manage P6 in Q1, but he's through to Q2 nevertheless. So we've got our... Oh, and Pimis needs to be careful doing that, really. Don't want to be losing your driving standards there. Qualifying may be over, but that doesn't mean you can dawdle around on circuit. So we should see him back in the pits at the end of this lap. No, he's got to be careful doing that, because if he ends up being disqualified, there we go, he's retired on circuit, look. So, I'm not sure you're supposed to be doing that, but someone may want to fill me in on that. So at the end of Q1, Dixon was fastest. The drivers we lose are Carlos Killer, Wild Dog, Safdar, Dan Murphy, and Terades, who arrived in late. We'll be back for Q2 very shortly. Here we go then for Q2. We'll lose the next 5 service drivers, and the question mark is, who will gamble on making it into Q3 on the medium compound? Well, we're going to see plenty of drivers coming out on mediums, including Dixon. You can see the yellow side marked tyre being put on. I think Statistic King is out on circuit as well. He's on the soft compound, so he's not gambling on mediums. I didn't think he would go for mediums, to be honest with you. He may have wanted to give it a try, but I think considering the pace that we've seen from him throughout the Formula Racing League, I don't think he'd have wanted to gamble unless he thought otherwise. There's Dixon out there. There's one of the Ferraris as well. That's William Gaiman, who's on the mediums. Who else is out on track on medium tyres? We've got Lezard on softs, actually. Becco on softs. Milo's on mediums. Davidos is on softs. So not too many going for the medium compound. Maybe a few mind games going on. And there's Statistic King. So Statistic King begins a fast lap now. We'll see how he gets on. Now his Q1 time. Memory serves me correctly. Statistic King posted a 1:27.8, which was an identical lap time to what Warrior Huntsman had posted. Into sector 1. It's only a 28.4, so I don't think he's going quicker than he did so last time. I don't know if he's on an old set of soft compound tyres. So coming towards Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Statistic King from Glasgow in Scotland. 1 minute 5.2 by sector 2, so I don't think Statistic King's going to post anything quick here. I think he may well be on an old set of softs. That's for him to answer. I'm sure you'll get some information back to me on that. So Statistic King over the line. It's not quick by any means. It's going slow. I think this is explaining things. Going slow so that he can set a faster lap time on the mediums later on. Dixon's exceeded track limits. William goes fastest on a 1:27.9 on the mediums. How are the others getting on? Well, looking at Becco, who's gone fastest on a 1:27.7. Then it's Winfield is starting a flying lap now. We'll go to Melios, who's coming through Vale and now Club. And it's a 1:27.5, and he goes fastest with that one. So a very nice lap there for Melios on the mediums. Who else is on a flying lap? Romans Republic is on a fast lap coming through Stowe Corner. Over 10 minutes remaining. (1:27.9) as he crosses over the line. Warrior Huntsman going second on a 1:27.6 on the soft compound. We'll go to Winfield next, I believe, or is Dixon on a fast lap? Well, Dixon's not on a fast lap because he's slowing down at almost snail's pace. Winfield has lost his front wing as he makes his way towards Copse Corner, so that'll be him back in the pits. And time will be against him to get a lap time in on the mediums before he decides to probably go onto the soft compound around the time when the checker flag has fallen. Pimis is on the medium compound in the Alfa Romeo. His sector 1 time is a 27.7. That's a good lap time on the mediums, actually, for Plymouth. Can he keep up through the remainder of the lap? He's got 2 cars in front of him. They've just gone through Woodcote. That's the McLaren of Warrior Huntsman and the AlphaTauri of Rome's Republic. Now, the McLaren gets out of the way, no problem. I think Rome's Republic should be okay. He might even be on a fast lap, actually, is Rome's Republic. No, he's not. So, we'll go back to Plymouth, who's coming towards Beckett's now. It's a 1 minute 4.2 by the stage of the lap. Now his Q1 time on the soft compound had put Plymouth in 6th place, 1 minute 27.592. How will this lap on the mediums compare? It's a 1:28.0, so it's around about half a second slower than what he set on the softs in Q1. There's Mikey in the Mercedes. Bowie's on a, well, he was on a lap before his lap was invalidated. There's the Liverpool fan in the other Alfa Romeo. Rear wing open. For Liverpool fan, it's a 1 minute 4.1. That's about a tenth faster than what Plymouth had posted by this stage of the lap. You can see the marks on his nose cone. Shows how hard he has been pushing throughout the course of this lap. So over the line comes Liverpool fan. And it's a 1 minute 27.9. So he's able to displace Roman's Republic with that one. Just behind William Gaming, though. So Liverpool fan will be watching over his shoulders and hoping he'll not be out by the end of this session. Davidos is on a fast lap in the Williams. His lap time in Q1, if I go back to the times at the end of that session, Davidos' time in Q1 was a 1:27.6 on the soft compounds. Through Vale, and now Club, onto the Hamilton Straight. This is going to be a 1 minute 27 here for Davidos. 1 minute 27.6, and he goes second. So he's less than a tenth slower than Mileos, but he's put himself in a decent position to get through to Q3 on the medium compound. There is Jack Berry, who will be fighting for a place in Q3. He's not been out on the mediums. And this is a very slow lap time here. 1 minute 28.3. That's definitely not quicker than what he posted in Q1. Lessard's gone for another lap because the lap he just posted was invalidated for track limits. So time is against him to get out of the bottom 5. Dixon, Mikey, Lessard, Winfield and Big Balls Bells are the 5 drivers set to be eliminated, but none of them are set lap times anyway. Statisticking is the driver at risk. Mikey crosses over the line, 1 minute 27.6, goes second. Nice lap there from the Mercedes pilot. How are the others getting on? Well, Les's just going through sector 1 now. Winfield is coming through the loop. Big Boss Bowles is on the hanger straight, 1 minute 3.9 by this stage of the lap. So it looks like he's going to be very much in the regions of where Mikey and Davidos have ended up. May even go fastest. So through Club Corner. Big Boss Bowles over the line, and it's a 1:27.7. Only good enough for 5th, though. So it's not a very comfortable situation for Big Boss Bowles, but you may feel that others on the soft compound, like Jack Berry, probably won't go as fast as he has done on the mediums. That's no disrespect to those drivers. That's just on genuine pace that I've seen from them in the past. Berry comes into the pit lane, no surprise. There'll be another set of soft tyres going on for him. And Lessard doing the same. Winfield will go too. We didn't see his time in sector 2. And Lessard has decided to opt out of it. So Lessard is not going to be setting a time in Q2. So that is his qualifying session over. Winfield over the line. It's a 1:27.9, but only 11th. So not good enough for Winfield to be out of the bottom 5. So he'll probably get back to the pits as soon as he can. He's got enough time. Pound fitted on. Who's out on track as well? Well, Big Boss Bells is going for another lap on the mediums. He really wants to get into Q3 on that compound, no question. He's 3/10 up by sector 2. So this lap he's about to put in could well put him to the top. Big Boss Bells over the line. And he goes fastest by a 10th of a second over Modios. Davidos is retired from the session, so he's not going out for another run. He'll be hoping that 1 minute 27.6 will be good enough to get into Q3 on. And there is Winfield. So the drivers in the bottom 5 are Winfield, Bowie, Statistic King, Dixon and Lezard. Lezard, we know, is not going back out again. Dixon is on his out lap. We've got just under 3.5 minutes remaining, so there's enough time for those coming out of the pits to get another lap on the board. Yeah, get a faster time on the board, I should say. Romans Republic is on a fast lap now on the soft compound tyres. He is the driver at risk. So this needs to be a clean, tidy lap to book his place into Q3. But the downside is he'll start the race on the soft compound, unlike those who will go longer on the first stint on the mediums. So here's the AlphaTauri pilot coming towards Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. There is a Ferrari ahead of him. That will be Big Boss Bells, who will remain out of the way. Romans Republic may decide to get a bit of a tow, but he stays to the left. Romans Republic comes through. Becco decides not to go back out again. Romans Republic over the line, goes to P1 with 1 minute 27.2. Dixon is also on a fast lap in the Williams. Can he get through to Q3? It's likely he will do, given his pace. We didn't see his time in sector 1. His time through sector 2 by this stage of the lap is a 1:3.1. So it's looking good for Dixon to go fastest. So he brakes for Vale. Rides over the curbs. He comes towards the line. And it's going to be a 1 minute 26.8. That is good enough to get him into Q3, no problem. Now, Bowie and Statistic King are on fast laps. This is important. Statistic King is on the mediums. I think he's going to find it tough to get into Q3 on those, but we'll see how he gets on. We didn't see sector 1 time. Coming towards sector 2, his exit coming out of Beckett's was pretty appalling, it has to be said. He's 7/10 up from before. He slowed down towards the line, so he wasn't going too fast on the soft compound. Bowie is going faster than before, but he's not finding enough time. So Bowie's place in Q3 could well be under threat. He is 13th. Statistic King coming round now. He may go for another run, to be honest with you, straight away. So Statistic King over the line, 1 minute 28.6. Not good enough. He stays 14th. Bowie over the line next for Haas. Goes up to 9th, so he is out of the bottom 5 after that. That pushes Pimis into the drop zone. He's on the soft compound coming through sector 2. He's only nearly a 10th up, but it would still be good enough to get him out of the bottom 5. He needs to find, at the very minimum, a couple of hundredths to push William Gaiman into the drop zone. So Pimis coming round. There's his teammate Liverpool fan as well. Liverpool fan needing to find a strong lap time here to get himself through to the final part of qualifying. Pimis over the line, goes 9th. That pushes William Gaiman into the drop zone. Liverpool fan next up. Very fast through sector 2, it has to be said. He goes up to 4th. Nice up time there from Liverpool fan. Now, what about the likes of William Gaiman? He's on a fast lap. William Gaiman is. Statistic King is not, so he is out of qualifying. So there's 3 places remain. And Bowie's gone for a spin on the exits of Cox Corner. So that's his qualifying session over. We carry on as we are. William Gaiman is on the soft compounds. He should get through, no problem. Let's see what his sector 2 time is like. It looks relatively quick, to be honest with you. He's nearly 6 tenths up, so this is more than good enough to see William Gaiman push Pimis into the drop zone. Pimis is already done with his Q2 times, so if William Gaiman goes faster than Pimis, that's Pimis' qualifying session over. And the Gaiman coming round Vale, and now Club onto the Hamilton Straight. It's a 1 minute 27.1. He goes 3rd. What about Winfield? This is a very important lap time. This should see him through, to be honest with you, which will push Becco out and goes up to 4th. So Winfield is through on the softs. And the 5 we lose at the end of Q2 are Becco, Pimis, Bowie, Statistic King, and Lizard. So it's an interesting end to the Q2 session. The drivers making it through to Q3 on the mediums. As far as I know, they are Big Boss Bells, Mikey, and Davidosh. Warrior Huntsman getting through by the skin of his teeth, actually. A 10th ahead of Becco. So it's going to be interesting up at the front with those fighting on the softs, but keep an eye out on Big Boss Bells, Mikey, and Davidosh, because they could have a say on the race victory later on. So Dixon was fastest by less than a tenth of a second over Melios. Melios putting some good times throughout this qualifying session. It seems to be a circuit where a lot of the drivers do very well at, as Winfield touches the back of the Ferrari. He shouldn't get penalised for that, as his car will be controlled by the AI. So that brings Q2 to a close. So Dixon was fastest yet again. The 5 drivers we lose, you can see listed in red on the left-hand side. Becco, Pimis, Bowie, Statistic King, and Lizard are out of qualifying. The top 10 go through to Q3. Who will be on pole here at Silverstone? Find out in around a few moments' time. Ten drivers remain. Which one of them will be on pole position by the end of the next 12 minutes? It looks like Milios is going out right now. As you can see, the Red Bull crew just giving him the heads up before he goes out. I think one of the Williams is going out as well. That'll be Dixon. So it seems as though that Davidosh has beaten them out onto the racetrack. So how many of them are going to be seen out? There's quite a flurry of activity in the pit lane. It seems to be that pretty much all of them are going out, apart from Liverpool fan and Mikey. I think Mikey's going to wait for a gap in the traffic, although he's going out now. So only Liverpool fan has decided to not go out on track straight away. So Davidosh in the Williams, called in as a reserve for tonight. So Davidosh coming round on his outlap. What's he going to be like throughout this one? I think with his pace on the mediums, if that's anything to go by, he could well earn himself a top 5 start here, depending on how the others choose to get on. So starting the lap now. He'll go on board as he speeds his way through Abbey, through Farm, and then through the first braking zone of the lap, that is Village. 4th gear through there, and he drops down to 2nd initially before shifting up to 3rd at the apex of the loop. And up through the gears past Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight. DRS open. One of two DRS zones around here, the other being on the Hanger Straight. Brakes for Brooklyn's down to 4th gear. And then for 3rd, and back up to 4th at the apex of Luffield. His exit wasn't particularly great. Normally you would take a wide line through Luffield and gain all the acceleration through Woodcote onto the pit straight towards Copse. Well, I say the pit straight, it's the old pit straight that was last used for Formula 1 for the start back in 2010. And Davidosh has exceeded track limit, so you may as well back out of it. We'll go to Melio's next. Gets through Maggots fine. Beckett's wasn't particularly great. Can Melio's book his place on the podium here tonight? It's going to be quite difficult, actually, with the likes of Dixon, Big Boss Bells, and possibly Lizard, who is the Season 2 champion. This is Season 4, for your information. It's a 1 minute 27.4 for Melio's. William Gaiman over the line, and he goes quicker with a 127.1. Warrior Huntsman goes third with 127.7. We've got Winfield next in the other McLaren. Not too shabby coming through Club Corner. Third fastest for him. Over a 10th up on his teammate. Romans Republic goes fastest with an identical lap time to William Gaiman. Now it's interesting because he set his lap time after William Gaiman, so if that was in real life, William Gaiman would have kept hold of provisional pole position, but via the algorithm of the game, Romans Republic has inherited pole position. Remember Jerez 1997? Jacques Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher and Heinz Frentzen setting the same lap time to the nearest thousandth of a second, 1 minute 21.072. That was the lap time that all three drivers had set, but it was decided on the basis of who set that lap time first. Thus, it was Villeneuve, then Schumacher, and then Frentzen. So only 5 drivers have set a lap time so far. There is Dixon going for a run now in the Williams. Can he take his second pole in a week? He makes his way through turns 1 and 2, Abbey and Farm. This is Village. And he's coming up behind his teammate Davidosh, who's on an outlap. So I'd like to think he'll be moving out of the way very, very shortly. Davidosh stays out of the way. Dixon's line through Brooklands was not too bad. And this is what I mean, you can get better acceleration coming out of Luffield all the way through the old pit straight, which is still sometimes used for junior category racing, club car racing, even touring cars, including the British Touring Car Championship. Dixon coming through Maggots and Beckett. Oh, he's got out of shape, look, and he's going to go into the gravel seat. He's caught the grass, and that's his lap time ruined, unfortunately. So pushing too hard at Beckett as Dixon. Warrior Huntsman has decided not to go back out on circuit. So 5th or lower is where he'll end up. So Dixon will be ruining that error. So we'll go to Davidosh next because he's the next one who could potentially cross over the line to set a lap time. Dixon arriving back in the pits to get another set of the soft compound tyres on for his last attempt. Davidosh hoping to keep his car within the track limits, unlike last time. ideally want to be in the low 27s, possibly the high 26s. It's only a 27.5 through sets of 1. It's not the fastest first sector we've seen all night, but it's still fairly decent. Now, Davido's last season was a Ferrari driver full-time. He didn't compete in every single round. Only accumulated 23 points. We're hoping to improve that, which he could mathematically do. Remember, it's the top 15 that score points in the Formula Racing League. 40 for the race winner, 32 for second, 26 for third, 20 for fourth, right the way down to 15 would get 1. They would all need to finish in order to score. And there's a point on offer for the driver within the top 10 setting the fastest lap, and also a point for the driver who qualifies on pole position. Well, Davido's has gone third with a 1 minute 27.2, attempts shy of Romans Republic and William Gaiman. So there's Romans Republic going for pole here. He currently has that. Although there are some drivers who haven't posted a lap time, including Liverpool fan who hasn't been out of the pits yet until now. Romans Republic won't be hindered by him, of course. He's coming through the village. There is a Mercedes ahead of him. That's Mikey, who's just come back out on his final set of softs. Shouldn't hinder Romans Republic, to be honest with you. Some Romans Republic coming through Cops. Going through the curves nicely there, not going too far out wide. Didn't see his first sector time, to be honest with you. We'll see how he's getting on through sector 2. We'll have more of an idea. He's a 10th up from before, so this is looking good for Romans Republic to extend and bridge out a margin over William Gaiman and the others. Dixon is on a flying lap as well, so we'll go to him very shortly. So Romans Republic coming towards Vale. And then Club. Can he get himself into the 1 minute 26s? Yes, he can. 1 minute 26.9 for Romans Republic. Found a little bit more time in the last sector, and that's helped him bridge the gap further over the others. Now Dixon goes through Maggots more sweetly this time, unlike last time around when he spun the car around, catching it on the grass. 1 minute 2.9. That's round about 2 or 3 tenths faster than what Romans Republic had set. So Dixon very much in play for pole position here, despite not setting the lap time earlier on. He's got Vale and Club to get through. He's got enough ERS within this lap to pull it out of the bag. Over the line comes Dixon, and he goes to provisional pole by 0.4 of a second. Who is on a fast lap as well? It looks like Mikey's backed off on this one. Liverpool fan likewise. It doesn't look particularly quick, actually. So just looking at the others, when they start their flying lap, Big Boss Bells has started his final attempt. Got just over 30 seconds remaining, so those out on circuit on outlaps need to be quick over the line. In fact, Milios is the last one to cross over the line now, so he should be okay. So Davido's not going back out on circuit, neither is Warrior Huntsman. Big Boss Bells through sector 1. I'm just looking to see what his lap time was, or his time in sector 1. 27-4 it was through sets of 1. No sign of a lift there from Big Boss Bells. Now, it was a 1 minute 2.9 that Dixon had set by the second sector. I don't think Big Boss Bells is quite showing that pace. No, he's quite some time away, 3/10 away from Dixon. He could still get on the front row, to be honest with you, could Big Boss Bells. There's no way I don't think he's going to be on pole. William Gaiman's behind him as well, his teammate, who could threaten to be on that front row. Big Boss Bells coming through the Hamilton Straight now. 1 minute 26.8. Goes onto the front row. William Gaiman in the other Ferrari. What can he do? Only third for him. 0.03 of a second shy. Winfield over the line. Goes to the front row. 1 minute 26.7 for him. Excellent job there from the McLaren driver. Melios in the Red Bull. He goes to the front row. Less than a 10th off pole as well for Melios. So very, very good lap time. Dixon not improving, obviously. Now it's all down to Mikey. Liverpool fan is not on a fast lap, so 7th or low is where he'll end up. So Mikey's the last one who could improve. His lap time earlier was unrepresentative, so just ignore that one. So Mikey over the line. Only good enough for P7. So after all that, it is Dixon for the second week running on pole position in Tier 1 in the Formula Racing League. Joining him on the front row will be Melios in the Red Bull. Then it's Winfield and Big Boss Bells on row 2. William Gaiman and Romans Republic make up the third row. William Gaiman ahead of Romans Republic with a faster lap time, unlike earlier before when both had identical lap times. Mikey and Liverpool Fun make up the fourth row with Davidosh and Warrior Huntsman rounding out the top 10. We've got a full grid, so do not go anywhere. We've got some action to come up that will get you off your seats, is what I was meant to be saying. Do join in, do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in a moment. So we're ready to go here at Silvertone. We've got the formation up to come. The drivers just sorting out their tyre strategies for the race. We've got 3 drivers within the top 10 starting on the mediums. They are Mikey, Davidosh and Dixon, as far as I am aware. We are expecting a dry race throughout. If you have joined us, do make sure you get involved in the live chat, like and subscribe. And so the formation that begins. We've got a full grid. Terades, who didn't take part in qualifying, is here down at the back. So looking at who's starting on what. So as I've already mentioned, it's Big Boss Bells on the mediums, my apologies. So Dixon is in fact on the soft compound. So Dixon and Melios line up on the front row with Winfield and Big Boss Bells on row 2. Then it's William Gaiman and Romans Republic on row 3, followed by Mikey and Liverpool Fan on the 4th row. Davidosh and Warrior Huntsman make up the 5th row, while it's Becco and Pimis occupying row 6. Bowie and Statistic King are on row 7, followed by Lizard, who didn't set a lap time in Q2, who starts 15th. Carlos Killer, 16th, was one of those knocked out in Q1. Wild Dog and Soft Dart on the 9th row, and down at the back are Dan Murphy and Terades. So it's pretty much half and half in terms of tyre strategies. Big Boss Bells, Mikey, Davidosh, Becco, Pimis, Bowie, Statistic King, Lizard, Soft Dart and Dan Murphy on mediums. The others are all on softs. So Dixon going for 2 wins from 2 to open up a nice margin in the championship. And he's already won the 100% Racing Championship in the past. Could he pick up his second Formula Racing League crown, this time in the tiers? And Dixon just backing the field up. Doesn't want to be waiting on the grid for too long. So the field come round now. I'll be ready to go for this 26th lap British Grand Prix at Silvertone, round 2 of season 4 in the Formula Racing League Tier 1. Now there is the Tier 2 race which Rosie Richardson is commentating on. So do make sure you go check that out as well. You could have both races on at the same time if you ever so wish. So all 20 cars are in position and we are ready to go for the race here in Britain. Who will rise in the Battle of Britain? The 5 red lights appear in front of the drivers when they go out. So we'll be racing here at Silverstone. It's lights out, and away we go. Dixon seems to get off very, very well, but Manios seems to be alongside, but he's cut back inside and avoids making contact with him going into Abbey Corner. Everyone seems to have got through safely. William Gaiman getting ahead of his teammate Big Boss Bowles into 4th place. They come into the first braking zone of Village for the first time. Dixon remains in front, ahead of Manios in second. It's Winfield, William, Big Boss Bowles, Davidos, Rovis Republic, Becco, Pimis and Mikey in the top 10. Mikey dropping back a few positions at the start. Becco and Pimis have gained 3 places each. Very good starts from those two in particular. So Dixon remaining in front. Doesn't seem to be too many incidents happening, so it seems to be, just like Imola last week, a very clean start for the drivers. And there's Mikey's dropped back a lot of positions, actually. One of his cars controlled by the AI, so he's hoping to get back in whilst the race is going on, but he's down at the back now, so he's got a lot of work to do from there. Dixon still in front. And it's Manios, Winfield and William. And don't forget, Big Boss Wells is the highest of the medium starters. And there's Davidos losing position to Rome's Republic, who's gone past him. Pimis looking to get through as well. He's on fire at this one. To the outside he goes into Stowe Corner. No way of him getting through. And so he has to cut back in. And Pim is thinking about a move. He needs to watch for Becco as well. Becco avoiding contact. There's a Liverpool fan approaching him as well. So we complete the first lap. And you can see Terades making up the rear at the moment. I'm not sure if he's even in the lobby. So that's a shame, because that would have been interesting to see how those two got on throughout this. It doesn't seem to be they are. And Terades is not in the lobby. He's having some connection issues, unfortunately. So I think what Mikey's going to be doing is just turn his PlayStation off and get back into the lobby that way, but that will lose him some time and ground over the others. Terades, his race is pretty much over. His car will be controlled by the AI throughout the remainder of this one. So Dixon continuing to lead. Milios in second. Winfield doing a good job there in the McLaren in third. There's William going off track there at Stowe Corner. He's got to be careful not to do that too many times, otherwise penalties will be given. As Big Boss Wells gets out of shape on the middle of Maggots, and that's going to allow Rome's Republic to close up behind. Now, you don't want to be too greedy when it comes to using the ERS. We've been a fast-flowing circuit here at Silverstone. Well, Mikey's back in the lobby now, so just wonder if he's going to be able to take control of his Mercedes. So Dixon with a new fastest lap. DRS is now enabled. Dixon has bridged out a gap of over 1 second, so he's out of DRS range. Winfield is within DRS range behind Melios, so Melios is going to struggle to get the DRS and fend this one off. They should have enough ground in front, actually, to just fend Winfield off on this occasion. Now, remember, there are 2 DRS zones at Silvertone. One on the Wellington Straight, which Winfield has just gone through. The other on the Hanger Straight. Romans Republic going past Big Boss Bells into 5th position. So Romans Republic able to get that move done. And that was without the use of DRS, although that may have come to his aid to get alongside Big Boss Bells coming through Brooklands and Luffield. But he's through anyway and up to 5th. And you can see 2 Haas drivers, I think, going side by side. Or was it Lezard and Liverpool Fun? I think it may have been Lezard and Liverpool Fun. So Lezard getting through up to 10th place in the Haas. We expect him to be in the running for the race victory later on, considering the pace we've seen from him in the past. He is a reserve for tonight, so we're not expecting too much from him this season. That could have a say on the championship. And Big Boss Bells was able to get back through on Romans Republic, and Romans Republic getting out of shape coming onto the Hamilton Straight, so one of his tyres will be starting to fall away by this point in the Grand Prix. Lezard behind Becco here. He want to get this move done ideally into Village. If he doesn't do it from there, I can imagine he'll get it done on the Wellington Straight. Takes a wider line entering the loop. Becco might have DRS as well, but I think Lezard's pace is going to be too much for Becco to hold him off on this occasion. There he goes into the slipstream. Lezard alongside as they come into Brooklands, and that is the Haas through. Although Becco's not given this up yet, so Lezard's going to have to fight here. They leave each other room, but I think Lezard should have the move done, and Becco's still not giving up on this occasion, but Lezard's got through anyway, and through into 9th position. There's Davidosh, who's dropped back from Pimis actually, so I wonder if his mediums are not quite in the optimum window of which he desires. We can see Romans Republic behind Big Boss Bells and William Gaiman. Big Boss Bells approaching his teammate. I think his team is going to allow his teammate through here. He knows he's on a different strategy to what his teammate is on, and holds off Romans Republic. So clever driving there from William to keep hold of 5th place, maintaining a 4-5 for Ferrari. There's Lezard getting past Davidosh now for 8th position. So Lezard, by the end of lap 4, is into the top 8. So he's gained 7 positions from his starting spot. Pimis is next up. Pimis, who's already won a championship in the Formula Racing League. That was the Tier 2 championship in Season 1. It's unlikely he'll be going for the title this season. He just wants as many points as possible and hopefully improve as a driver in the F1 game cycle in the seasons to come. And just looking at Melios, is going side by side with Winfield in the battle for 2nd place. And it looks like William Gaiman's going side by side with Romans Republic as well. Romans nearly got through, and Les is able to get past Pimis. That's another position gained for the man from Greece. Lezard on a charge and up to P7. Now Dixon's able to further the gap over the others. We are expecting around lap 11 for those on the soft compound to be pissing in. Winfield with DRS, using some of his ERS as well. Melios keeps the door open on the inside. Winfield will go past him, and Winfield's through into 2nd position. What about Rowan's behind William, entering Stowe? Still going side by side, leaving each other enough room. There's a little bit of contact, but nothing too much. William Gavin still not giving up. They go side by side, entering the Hamilton Straight, and Romans is through. Now what about Lezard, because he's already alongside William Gaiman into Abbey, and he's through as well. So Williams lost 2 positions in a space of a few corners there. Lezard up to 6th then in the Haas. William Gaiman's behind him though, who may decide to fight back, and he does so. So William Gaiman showing to Lezard that he is no pushover by any means in the Formula Racing League. Lezard with is going side by side, Williams is still within a car's length alongside. And they continue to go side by side. William Gaiman trying the outside entry in Loffield, but it's the Haas who hangs on to 6th place. It's a very nice race in here. Very good to see. And Colours Killer is the first driver to be penalised as well for track limits. He's currently running in 15th place in the Aston Martin. Dan Murphy's moved up 5 positions from his starting spot. He's in 14th. And now Lezard is within DRS range. Sevedos with a time penalty for track limits as well. As Lezard makes a move on the AlphaTauri. And Lezard's through into P5. So it's taken Lezard 6 laps to gain 10 positions. Gets a bit out of shade coming out of So, but nothing too dramatic. Big Balls Bells is next up. And now we watch Melios, who's behind Winfield in the battle for P2 once again. As they begin lap 7. And looks like Davidos has gone for a spin. He's dropped rapidly down the order. And there he is, look. I don't know if he's made contact with the barrier, but he's lost a heap of time. And he'll fall to the back. So Melios in 3rd, behind Winfield. Roman's able to use the DRS on Lezard, but he's not close enough to have a go. So Lezard able to hold on for now. It looks like Davidos has gone for a spin yet again in the Williams. He needs to keep his standards in check here. You never know, we could get a safety car later on. Becco, the 3rd driver to be penalised for track limits. Mario's with the DRS open, behind Winfield. Is this going to be him through into 2nd place? Probably not from that far back. Murphy passes Warrior Huntsman for 12th place. Bowie's next up ahead. There's Liverpool fan fighting with Becco and Pimis. Liverpool fan having a fairly satisfying race, considering that there's still most of the cars still running. And Lezard with a new fastest lap, 1 minute 29.0. He's behind Big Boss Bells in the fight for 4th place. And Wild Dog with a time penalty for track limits. Warrior Huntsman also with the same penalty. Lezard getting past Big Boss Bells as they enter Brooklands, and Lezard's through into 4th. What a charge he has had throughout this race. Now he's got all of those on the soft compound ahead of him. And it won't be too long before he gets onto the gearboxes of those two. And Melios with a time penalty now for track limits, unfortunately. That's 3 seconds for him, which could cost him later on. He's now got DRS behind Winfield in the fight for 2nd place. To the inside he goes, and he's through. So Melios back into 2nd place. Becco behind Pimis, who goes onto the grass. Well, say Becco's on the grass. He pulled out too late there, to be honest with you. But he's got through on Pimis. And now Liverpool fan trying to get through as well, but Pimis shuts the door on him. Dan Murphy's behind as well, who's got past Jack Berry for 11th place. So there'll be a dive to the inside into the village for Murphy. He decides to play the safe game. Whilst we watch Winfield close back in on Melios in the fight for 2nd. Doesn't go for it from there. Lezard is behind in 4th position. He's caught up to these two now. Safdar getting ahead of Warrior Huntsman for 13th place. Wild Dog ahead of Statistic King for 16th. So Lezard in 4th position as Winfield closes back in on Milios. Milios is using his ERS to defend. Winfield using the DRS to attack. And Dixon's in. Now that's quite early. At the end of lap 9, Dixon in for his only stop of the race. Romans Republic in as well. So that hands Milios the race lead on the road. Warrior Huntsman also in for McLaren. DRS open for Winfield on the Wellington Straight. Can he get into the slipstream of the Red Bull and pull alongside? Entering Brooklands, the answer is no on this occasion. He's definitely too far back. Lezard's waiting in the wings as well, but he needs to play the long game here, does Lezard. He does not need to get caught up in this battle here. I know he's in the fight for the race victory, but the last thing he wants is tangling with one of either the Red Bull or the McLaren. But he's diving to the inside, entering Copse Corner. Winfield knows he's there, and Lezard gets through and up to second. Runs out wide at Copse Corner, I should say. Now Lezard's right in Milios' wheel traps. And he's got the DRS, pulls alongside, and Lezard's through to the lead. So from 15th to 1st in the first 10 laps, quite astonishing for Lezard. So after that pit stop, Dixon is rejoining 16th place with a clear track ahead of him. So that's important for his race, as Milios and Winfield decide that the time is right to pit in. William Gaiman also coming in, so Big Boss Wells stays out. Liverpool fan also coming in for Alfa Romeo. Wild Dog slows the car down in time. Carlos Killer also in, so it's a busy pit lane right now. That's perhaps explaining why Dixon didn't want to come in sooner, or later I should say. So the top 9 drivers now in the field are those who've started on the mediums. Those Dixon in 10th place. He's able to get in front of Milios again. Winfield staying behind the Red Bull. Winfield rejoins ahead of Davido. She's going to pull alongside here, and Winfield's going to lose track position as the Williams goes past. So this is bad news for Winfield's race. Now, Davido is not a lap down. He has every entitlement to fight with these guys. So if Winfield's going to get past him, he'll have to do it the hard way, because this is costing him in time. Rams Republic also, William Gaiman in 15th place. He's rejoined. There's Lezard, your race leader, continuing to lead out in front. There's Big Boss Wells second, Becco third, and Murphy's got in front of Pimis for 4th position now. Next man ahead of him is Becco, who's just received a time penalty for track limits. I think that's his second one of the race now. So 6 seconds for him, which will cost him dear later on, no question. And William Gaiman now with a penalty for track limits. So we're coming towards the halfway point in this race now. Lezard's leading, but he's still yet to stop. It'll be interesting to see how those on the mediums currently fare on the soft compound when they do come in. Warrior Huntsman with a time penalty now for track limits. Primus getting past Soft Dart for 5th place. There's Bowie in P7 on his own at the moment, not fighting with anyone. Statistic King 8, Mikey 9th, and there's Dixon, the first of those to have pitted, in 10th place. He's over 4 seconds behind the Mercedes, so any problems in closing him down. He's not fighting with anyone. And Becco losing the position to Murphy. So Murphy through and up to 3rd place on the road. He used a lot of his ERS though, so he's going to find it tough to hold off the Alpine. Lezard posts a new fastest lap. Continuing to pull away from Big Boss Bells. Coming out of the loop, and Lizard will look to increase the gap before he comes in for his only stop. Now Milos is behind Winfield now, so Winfield was able to get in front of Milos on track. After the pit stops, Winfield runs wide at Village, and that's going to allow the Rebel to close back in. Now Winfield is over 6 seconds in front of this lot. Wildog picks up another time penalty for track limits. Milos on the Wellington straight with the DRS, pulls alongside into Brooklands, and he goes back through to what could effectively be second position. But Winfield fights back, so the more these two battle, the more it will play into Dixon's hands, and also Lizard. Because when he does get the soft tyres put on his car, he is going to be quick. If he was that quick on the mediums, even on old mediums, goodness me, he could be very, very quick on the softs later on. Lightning quick. And Softar in 5th place. Lizard's gap over Dixon right now is 24 seconds or just under that, which is not going to be enough to see him complete an overcut. So I think his best chance of the victory will probably be, by obviously going past Dixon on track, but it's just how far will he behind him. So we're coming towards the end of lap 14. Lizard in the race lead. All the cars are still running, albeit Therese' Williams is controlled, or Alpine I should say, controlled by the AI due to connection issues. Bowie coming into the pits to get the soft compound tyre on. He's going to try and complete an undercut on some of those currently ahead of him. As for his teammate Lizard, he's continuing out in front. And Becco getting past Softar now, going side by side through Brooklands. They keep it clean, and Becco remains in front for now. Dixon closing up on Mikey in front. And Bowie rejoined in 19th place behind Wild Dog. But on fresher tyres, he should be able to get past him very shortly. So Lizard looking very, very, very good at the moment. But will it be enough to see him stand on the top step after he comes in for his final stop? Softar getting in front of Becco for 4th position on track. We're starting to see more pit lane activity. Murphy slowing the car down in time, only just though. Big Boss Bells also in. Mikey's just got in front of Statistic King, who ducks into the pits. That allows Dixon to go through, so that's one less car for Dixon to get by. He'll get in front of Big Boss Bells and Dan Murphy. So Dixon in 6th place now on the track. Wingfield and Milio should get in front of Big Boss Bells here. Rose Republic also through. And there's Big Boss Bells rejoining in 10th place on the track and with a clear road ahead of him. And he's going to be on better tyres than those on the mediums ahead. So Big Boss Bells could have a say on who finishes on the podium as well. Now, Leonard's gap over Dixon is still the same, just under 24 seconds to the last time we looked. We're on lap 16. I would think that Les is going to be pitting at the end of this lap. He's got a good margin over Safdar, so it's not like he's going to be held up in the pits when he does come in, and he's coming in now. So this should be a fairly clean pit stop here for Lezard. He won't get out in front of Dixon, but he could get out in front of Winfield, Milos, and Romans Republic and Co. Safdar also in. Becco does come in, albeit too quickly. That's another time penalty, unfortunately, for him, which could rob him of a points finish. Pimis remaining out there for another lap. So Dixon through into the lead once again, but there's no question that Lezard will be on his tail come the end of the race. And Lezard does get out in front of Winfield and Milio, so Lezard's gamble on the mediums has paid off and is into what is effectively second place. And on fresher tyres, he's got a good chance. And William Gaiman's crashed out. He's crashed out somewhere just before Village, and we've got a safety car. Now that could change things, because Pimis, who is yet to come into the pits, it's basically got all the time he can use. Oh, he's got to stick to a safety car delta, though. And to be honest with you, he's not doing that. No, he's gambling too much, speeding too much, and he's been given a drive-through penalty. Far too quick. And his gamble has clearly backfired. And he's got a time penalty as well, I think, so that just makes things even worse now for Pimis. He cannot take that under the safety car. I don't understand why he did all that, to be honest with you. That was really, really silly of him. Really, really stupid. He's coming in to take his pit stop. So Dixon, well, this is bad news for Dixon, actually, because Leslie's only just been in to get the soft compound tyre on. And now he's going to be at him pretty much. Oh, it's like a predator over prey is what I would want to use. And Pimis in the pits now. Now those on the soft compound will be thinking, well, they fancy their chances of a podium finish. Winfield and Malios have got time penalties as well, so they are really, really up against it now. I think some of those who've already pitted for the mediums have come in for the soft compounds. Now, Wild Dog's not come in for the softs. So Wild Dog has caught up to the Crocodile. The safety car will remain out there for another lap. Now this is a moment in the race to decide whether is it best to go onto a set of softs and lose track position. I think Dixon will feel he'll want to remain out there and keep track position. because Lizard's right in there now, as is Winfield and Milios. Silvertone, she can't get ahead of Therese, even though Therese's car is controlled by the AI. He'll catch up to it anyway. He'll catch up to the field, I should say. There's Bowie in 18th. And William Gaiman's exit has caused the safety car to come out. Everyone is together now, so the safety car should be going in at the end of the lap that they are on. Hopefully we don't get any more carnage. So Dixon in front with Leonard second, Winfield, Milios, Big Boss Bells. Dan Murphy up to 6th from the back. It's been another brilliant drive from him. So it was towards the back last week was Murphy, but he's got it right today. Pimis in 7th, but will be taking that drive-through penalty once the safety car has gone back in. Safdar 8th, Becco 9th, Wildog 10th. Micah will move up into the top 10 once Pimis comes in to take that drive-through. The safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. Dixon will dictate the pace and he'll go when he's ready to do so. Allows the safety car to pull in. This is a nail-biting moment in the race now. Can Dixon hold off Lizard for the race victory? It's going to be very hard for him to do that. He knows that it's not impossible. Now, how long will he leave it for? So he's gone now. And it's a good restart from Dixon. And we're watching Big Boss Bells thinking about a move. It hasn't been able to get through. So we're back on the way here at Silvertone. Big Boss Bells to the inside. I think that was a glitch, actually. But Malios is in 3rd place. There's Big Boss Bells trying to get past the Red Bull, coming out of the loop, and Big Boss Bells is through. So Malios beginning to drop back as we watch Dan Murphy pull alongside the Red Bull as they enter Brooklands. Murphy to the inside, and he's also through. Malios is going to be struggling throughout the rest of this one now on those mediums. There's Pimis in 7th place. He's also going to be making his way through and up to 6th. I'm surprised he didn't choose to take the drive-through penalty at the end of the safety car period there, because if we get another one, he's not taking it. That's another blow. And now we watch the top 2 fighting out for the lead. Here goes Lizard on the outside as they come towards Stoke Corner, and Lizard's through into the race lead of the British Grand Prix. So Lizard's through ahead of Dixon and Winfield. Big Boss Bells in 4th place. Can he get onto the podium? As it stands, he will be because of Winfield's time penalty. And Pimis comes into the pits to serve that drive-through penalty. That's his chances of points more or less gone. So Dixon in 2nd place. That may be where he'll have to settle for today. But he'll at least extend his lead at the top over Big Boss Bells and Winfield, as Winfield loses a position. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, but that doesn't stop Big Boss Bells getting through. I think Dan Murphy's on the outside as well, and he's through into 4th position. So Murphy on a charge. Absolutely brilliant stuff from him. Now Safdar. We didn't think it'd be as high as he's ended up so far from where he was on the grid. But he's in play for a top 5 finish here, so he's had a very, very good drive. Becco in 8th on the track. He's got Mikey right behind him. Mikey was at the back of the field because of his connection problems. Now he's got a chance to make up a few positions in the closing laps of this British Grand Prix. Sorry, my English nearly went out of the window. As Liverpool fan now gets a time penalty. That's bad news for him. He's currently in 14th place in the Alfa Romeo. Becco pulls alongside Melios, entering Stowe Corner, and that sees the Bulgarian through into 7th place. Melios is fighting back though, on the inside, doesn't break later than the Alpine, unfortunately. Lezard posts a new fastest lap, so he's on course to achieve that. Wild Dog gets past Davidos for 12th on the road. DRS is now, and Owen Wild Dog's into the wall. He made contact with Davidos, he did not back out of the move, and that's cost him his front wing, and his chance of points are also gone. Now someone has gone off. It's that Wild Dog with his front wing missing yet, so that's unfortunate for him. He could have been in play for points. But it's going to be no points today for Wild Dog in the Mercedes. Becco in 7th, Winfield 6th. He's just been overtaken by Stuff Dart, who's now right on the gearbox of Big Boss Valve. So Stuff Dart not stopping from where he is right now. He wants more and could get more. If anything more happens to Dixon, who I can imagine will be continuing to struggle on his mediums. I think Dan Murphy's got in front of Big Boss Bells as well. So Murphy on course for a podium finish here at Silverstone. Warrior Huntsman with a time penalty for track limits. That's his 3rd one of the race. That's 9 seconds. Romans Republic's got through. We've just seen Melios and Becco go into combat through Stowe Corner. Melios to the inside, approaching Vale. He's not brave enough on the brakes, is the Red Bull, and that allows Mikey to pull alongside here. Will they keep it clean? Wild Dog had his accident here a lap ago, but Mikey's through past the Red Bull this time and up to 8th place, potentially 7th or 6th once the penalties have been applied. We've got 4 laps to go, so still enough time for things to change. Wild Dog into the pits for Mercedes. I think he's going to call it a day from there, to be honest with you, unless he wants to go for the fastest lap. So it's Big Boss Bells in 4th position. Murphy 1.1 seconds behind Dixon, who's now 2 seconds off the lead. So there's no way Lezard's going to throw this away now. And Malios with another time penalty. This is going from bad to worse. From being in contention for the podium to falling potentially out of the top 10. Wild Dog exits the pits on brand new tyres. He's still on the lead lap. There's no way he'll come back from there now. And looks like Melios has lost another position, this time to Romans Republic. The two going side by side as they approach Vale. Roman's on the outside. Melios getting on the curb. Loses yet another place. There is Statisticking, who Melios doesn't fend off. Davidos gets through as well. And Melios having to accept defeat, so he's falling down to 12th position on track. Coming back on the inside of Davidos though through Village and now the loop. Wild Dog with another time penalty for track limits. Melios getting out of shape. Liverpool fan goes through, as does Warrior Huntsman, and Melios is going to fall out of the points almost. Well, this is a really, really terrible lap for the man who had such a good day tonight, a good race tonight up until the safety car came out. Now there's Murphy in 3rd place on course for a podium. 1 second he's behind Dixon, almost within range of using the DRS. He's not able to use the DRS on this occasion. Big Boss Bells is able to use the DRS. He's still got some ERS left in there. Murphy's out of ERS, so he's having to go defensive as Big Boss Bells thinks about a move down the outside into Stowe Corner. Murphy holds him off for now at least. Safdar could get himself onto the podium as Lezard starts the penultimate lap of this race now. This has been an astonishing drive from Lezard. From 15th on the grid to get himself up to where he is via the alternate strategy. And the battle for the podium is still not finished. Murphy under threat from Big Boss Bells and Safdar as they come on to the Wellington Straight. Statistic King gets past Liverpool Fan, and Rome's Republic has fallen down the order. He's gone through the loop, cutted across the loop, and he's fallen down to 15th place. I'm not sure how he's managed to do that. Pimis is back in the pits, probably going to go for the fastest lap. So Rome's Republic, another to fall by the wayside. So Murphy 1.1 seconds behind as Safdar and Big Boss Bells go into combat. Big Boss Bells got a poor exit coming out of Cops, and that allows Safdar through, and Big Boss Bells now has a time penalty to his name, so that has given Safdar the cushion he needs, and Murphy as well. He's still not within DRS range to get moved on. Safdar is right behind him with DRS. Doesn't go for the move into Stoke Corner, he was too far back. But with Murphy lacking ERS in that battery, that is surely going to give Safdar the advantage on the final lap. Well, we are on the final lap now. Lezard has just started that. And on course to take victory on his return to the Formula Racing League tonight as a reserve. Murphy still not within DRS range. He needs to get within DRS range, not necessarily to overtake Dixon, but to fend off from Safdar behind. Safdar over the curbs onto the Wellington Straight now. Is this the moment where he completes his move on Murphy for the podium? There we go, look, on board. Down the inside into Brooklands. Murphy goes defensive, leaves him enough room. Murphy lives on to fight another day. But remember, there's still one more straight to go through, which is the Hangar Straight. That's the last DRS point. Can Murphy hold on? It's going to be very, very tough for him to do so. Big Boss Bells has no chance of finishing on the podium. He's out of range now. So will it be Murphy or Safdar joining Lezard and Dixon on the podium? Safdar will be within DRS range. Maggots wasn't particularly the greatest there, so that will give Murphy a bit of a cushion. But I think Murphy's going to be on the threat here. Gets out of the toe. Safdar within range. And Safdar is through into third place with the DRS. So Safdar's through and up to the podium places. Here is Lezard coming through Vale and Club through for the last time. Over the line to win the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Lezard takes it for Haas. Dixon will come home second with Safdar on the podium. From the back of the field, Murphy won't be too disappointed with fourth. Big Boss Bells finishes fifth ahead of Winfield and Mikey, who came through. Although Statistic King has made up a position because of penalties, Mikey is eighth. Bowie up to ninth. Would you believe it? He didn't have a time penalty at all. So from 16th or 15th, he's ended up ninth via the time penalties. Well, it just goes to show, if you keep your car penalty free, you've got a good chance of a good haul of points. Carlos Killer 10th, Roman's Republic and a disappointing 11th. Davido's 12th, Melio's 13th, Becco 14th, Warrior Huntsman taking the final point in 15th place. Liverpool Fan in a very disappointing 16th place. Pimis will be 17th as well, so no points for Alfa Romeo. World Dog is 18th. Terades, whose car was controlled by the AI throughout that event, is 19th. With William Gaming, the only driver to not finish the British Grand Prix in Tier 1 tonight. But here's your race winner. It is Lezard, who is on top of the world here at Silverstone. What a victory for Lezard. He'll be very, very happy with that. It was challenging, but it was what he was after. A challenge. Dixon won't be too disappointed with second. He still extends his lead at the top by quite some way, actually. So here's your race result. Lezard wins ahead of Dixon in second place. Then Stuffdar third ahead of Murphy in fourth. Big Boss Bells fifth. Winfield is sixth ahead of Statistic King and Mikey. Bowie is ninth and Cars Killer running up the top 10. Rose Republic in 11th, followed by Davidosh. Milios in a very disappointing 13th place. Becco 14th. Warrior Huntsman 15th. Liverpool Fan outside the points in 16th ahead of Pimis, Wild Dog and Terrades, with William Gaiman the only driver to not make the checkered flag. The fastest lap point also goes to Lezard, so that's another championship point to his credit. Well, Dixon collecting 33 points, including the point for pole position, moves his total onto 75 points. Big Boss Bells for finishing 5th adds his total of 32 points. He now goes on to 52. So with the championship at the moment, Dixon is ahead by 23 points going into the next round of the championship, which will be in Baku in a week's time, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you like and subscribe to the channel in case you haven't already done so. We look forward to having you again next week. I'm Tom Cairnes, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.